learned from the lesson. Live in the hills, but I still get a spread. Started with a live, but I still reinvest it. Fear how I feel, then it feel like a blessing. I just want the lesson, I just want protection. I'm up and I'm down, but they sound like progression. Farmer never plans if he waits for perfection. Finger to the down.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, I hope you're having a wonderful day. Today, we need to talk about what happened in the market. So I'm going to give you the watch list. We're going to cover it, but what you had today, it was pretty spooky. Now, I wish you were there during the live stream so you could hear the talks we've had about the long term. What I'm going to talk about here, it's not to say that, oh, everything has to go down. We need to buy puts and do this, do that. You know, be careful on the timeline, but today had some events, how the market moved. It was pretty spooky. I want to share it with you because I am pretty confident this is what we are going to hear. And I kind of have a little breakdown of how I think some things are going to play out. So I'm going to go over it with you, but I do think we are going to get a flash crash this year. I don't know when. I mean, maybe if the things I'm going to share with you develop quickly, it could happen sooner than later, but I definitely think this year we might have one of these volatility events. Now, the last time I made a video like this, March 6, 2020, I mean, it played out good. I don't want to ruin my record with this, but what I'm trying to say is that what happened today related to energy markets, related to Russia, it is very important, but now tie that into the divergence we've been covering, and you've been seeing now how the markets are behaving. It could create a lot more divergence, and where we go from here, it could be very interesting. So I got that for you guys. I'm going to cover that here. Drop your thumbs up on the video. Make sure we see you on stream, youtube.com/thestockmarket. I got to pump up my chest like that. And I'm not wearing Colt gear today. You know, we wanted to mix it up a little bit. This is my version of just the gray sweat. I don't know. Anyways, but I got the plays for you. Don't trip out. I mean, Spotify is going to be one to watch tomorrow. They got good news there with the Google payment system. Kind of like the Apple Store stuff when it helped out Roblox and a couple of those companies. So I'm going to be watching that. That's the first one. I made plays on a bunch of value plays. We'll go over them once we go over the main topics here. But then besides that, watch Apple stock, whether you want to trade it. It is a safe haven, but just overall health of the market. If people are really going to freak out, they are going to sell Apple, and you see them now. They're buying Apple like it's a bond. So anyways, let's talk about the bonds. What happened today? It was a very simple day, and here is a 3-day chart to get an idea. Remember, Monday, we were coming off the rally. This is where people are like, all right, rotate out of value, come into tech. The market was doing good on Friday. We kind of gapped into it, sold off, bounced up a little bit, then ended up closing red. Yesterday, we did very, very good. It was a nice gap up there, almost to new highs, right at 450 or recent highs. We wiped out a lot of the gains. Again, that was the big headline here. We were recovering all of the losses with everything we've seen with the volatility. Then today, we dropped and it finally snapped the streak. But here's the interesting part. Remember what we talked about yesterday with that narrative? Here's a quote. It said, bonds are taking the brunt of central bank calls for tougher action to rein in inflation as investors hold up stocks as an inflation hedge, sparking a rally that had seen the S&P recover half the decline, yibbity bobbity doo. But that is what happened today. The bonds went crazy. It was very, very bad. TLT went up. That means they recovered, but now people were buying bonds today. This slowed things down. We woke up to oil and commodities doing a lot of things, and now this is part of the spooky part. I haven't even got there to it. And then now you have a lot of people wanting to buy stocks to hedge against inflation. So it's kind of brewing up and creating a nice concoction here, but that's what happened today. We even got to hear from Bullard. It didn't affect things, but now we also got updates, and now this is the main thing for the week. This is the point of the video. This is the two things that happened. One, Joe Biden is already on the way to Germany. We are going to get an update. He's meeting with NATO. He's meeting with a bunch of people, but people are pretty much assuming now this is going to lead to more actions or even possibly another sanction. Now, Russia's been responding. They've been saying stuff back and forth, but you could go respond to it. I mean, the U.S. today even said they expect Russia to do an attack pretty soon, and that it's not just rhetoric. Like, literally, they're talking nuclear stuff. It's pretty scary, pretty wild, but you don't have to really freak out about it there. But now the next piece, it has to do with Europe. Why I'm saying flash crash, or even why I'm going to give you any analysis of what I expect here in the future. Simply, Europe and energy. If energy goes crazy, they are on the brink of a recession. Pretty much if we don't get any sort of oil deal, or if more escalation with Europe leads to a problem with oil, natural gas, anything energy related, chances are very likely, even James Bullard said it today. He didn't say it was imminent, but it could lead to a recession, or it will lead to a recession in Europe. So that is the big thing right now. And then even part of the news today, Putin said he would sell Russian oil to Europe or Russian gas if they needed it, but they had to pay with rubles. So why is this such a problem? Even the ruble shot up today. Some people think that's Putin trying to jack the price up there of the ruble and support it, but now it's just all political games. Literally, they've sanctioned the ruble, so even if they wanted to do it, they would have to backtrack and do all this. It's just playing kind of mind games more or less. But the whole point I'm trying to say is that statement, this movement, and then Biden on the way, and they're even talking new sanctions, chances are, and even by the end of the year or end of the month, we need to see an update with oil. And if this escalates further, the next wave of oil and energy, it's going to hit, but it's not going to hit the US. Even that's why I'm saying the S&P could even stay up and we could create a divergence, but it's going to start with Europe first. And that's what developed today. And that is the big thing here. So that's what I'm expecting if we are going to get any sort of flash crash or anything of that nature. And even if we don't, I really hope you are watching this. Again, just like the Fed futures, the divergence, this is going to be key. And even coming into tomorrow, people were asking me, how are we going to open? What's it going to depend on? It's literally going to be commodities and energy. If that goes up, and literally commodity traders right now are freaking out about liquidity, but depending on how that plays out, that is going to be a key to watch. If they keep going up, if energy and oil, it's already bouncing even faster than what I would have predicted, even what I did a couple weeks ago. So that's going to be something to watch. And then now the futures on the bonds, if the bonds start getting a bid and now start going up again, it's like we're worried about them going down. But now if you start watching this volatility, we need to watch the correlation. But depending on how the bonds move, it's going to say something. And literally, you saw it today, volume on the S&P was low, bonds were up, people were going into that. But now, are you ready for the kicker? Europe. Again, if Europe is worried, if Europe is going to face recession or collapse, the smart thing to do is with Europe, take your money and go put it into the United States, go put it into a U.S. bond, if anything. So that's part of all of it. That's what we're going to be watching here. We do got jobless claims data, but really, we haven't had escalation in a while, and I'm telling you to keep watch for it, because now, if you start seeing this inch up, it's watch Europe's energy first, but now this could set off another wave that we might be a little bit more worried about. So there's that. I got the plays for you. So let us get into the screen, because I'm going to go to this. All right. I love you, Chad. So as far as the plays, like I said, I don't have a play on Spotify except any of the other stuff that we've gotten over the years, but watch them with that news. We'll see if it could even spark anything there for tech. And then Apple, like I'm saying, if you're going to get real liquidation and panic, this is going to go down. But I've been talking about it a lot today. This move kind of reminds me of leading in there into January. So remember how it had that safe haven effect there? Watch if this slips or if people go to it. But that's something big that I'm watching. As far as the plays that I made today, the first one that I like in this one, it got clapped kind of. I mean, I think it's pretty much at the same price. I grabbed a Weibo May $10 put. It was the last one on the chain. I only grabbed one for $40. A lot of the plays we kept small today, maybe even just this week. We've been talking about that a lot there, especially with this volatility, and I think you're seeing it. But the thing about Weibo, they got news that they will be getting delisted. It was like the HFCAA, but pretty much it's the rules related to China companies getting audit. SEC said they put them on a list. We saw the drop. That's why the premiums got jacked up and then it calmed down. But it really reminded me of that time we had some of the Baba news just about a couple months ago. So we even called out Baba as a sympathy. I said I want to just keep this one small. Went with the $40, but I'm definitely going to be watching this one tomorrow. Then I went with the Intel and I spent $40 on this. I grabbed 5 of these at 8 cents. And a lot of plays, I was saying they got clapped today. They really would either just like go up and then come back to break even. I mean, this one, it says it's down to 6. I believe it's 8 cents still on the ask, but this one was because Intel got news during the day that NVIDIA would be using them as a foundry, or that's what the NVIDIA CFO said. So had a pop and drop, but it has a little bit of time. I thought it'd be decent, but again, kept that one small. And then I grabbed a MO in the morning. They have ex-dividend tomorrow, so I was assuming last day here would be good. And then you'll even see with the Verizon, the real thing about it this morning is is that there was plays that were up. Remember, we gapped down, commodity, energy, bonds, they were all going crazy, but there was still a couple of names up, even though you saw GMC, AMC up, and all GMC, GME, and all of these like hype names, and even Apple and Tesla. There was a couple of value names that didn't sell off, and Altria was one of them. They had ex-dividend. I've been watching these this week, so I said, all right, let me grab some. I decided to get 50 of the weekly 55 calls, and I bought them for about 3 cents each, so I spent about $150. So this one was a little bit big. It went up a decent amount at one point, then it came down, and even though the stock ended up going up, sold off there at the day, it's holding, but this one is going to be a gamble here for the rest of the week, but watch them. And then Verizon, same logic there as Altria. It was holding up. It was doing good during the last sell-off, so you can see over the last few days, it's been getting clapped, but last time during volatility, it actually kind of held up, and we've been watching communication stocks do decent. So I saw this one up on the scanner. Somebody made a play, so I decided to go with the 53.5 calls. I grabbed 10 of these at 4 cents, spent $40, or I got those at 6 cents. Excuse me, I spent 6 cents on those, and then I grabbed a $54 call as well. I grabbed another 10 of these for another $40. So spent just about over $100 on that one. Little bit more time next week there on April 1st, so we will see what happens, but really it just depends on if we get some of those, rotations or things holding up more or less. But those were the main plays. I didn't make any other plays. Still watching the Boeing. They came back up a little bit, but we're still down about 15%. Still riding out the MOS, NTR. A lot of them are holding up. Any of the plays that went back to break even in oil came back up today, and vice versa. Some of the plays like Facebook, Amazon, they actually held up a little bit, but ended up coming back to break even as we went down. So still riding those out, still playing small. That's pretty much the strategy. I'm still in the wheat play, and we still do have a lot of exposure to oil and commodities. So just remember, that is a big thing I'm looking for. And really, with everything going on, I want to see how it plays out. We just made an average down on the butterfly puts, but we will see how it plays out with Europe and all that, because that might be the next area for plays. And then TLT and the dollar, we just want to see if the correlation starts showing us something different. If anything, even though it went up, what's freaking out people is like, wait, why are people buying again? You could kind of get other influences from Europe and all of that. A lot of things were kind of weird today, and that's why I'm saying pay attention. I'm being dramatic with the video. It didn't seem like much, but you could even see it in the bond activity. Again, the potential there for Europe, it is getting a little bit shaky, but now today moved the exact same way. Stock market went up yesterday, bonds went down. Today, the market went down, bonds went up. We need to see if they're going to do something that will make them match up. Otherwise, we let the situation play out, and just don't forget the divergence is big. You got to keep watching this, both short-term and long-term. This is eventually going to have to close, and really, I think this is the most important thing in the market, so I hope you're ready. But that is your watch list, ladies and gentlemen. Make sure hydrate healthy, ready to go. Make sure you post your watch list. Make sure we see you there in the morning. I need the armor on. I need the helmet shining. I need you to remember, baby, you got to worry about what you're worrying about. But the code loves you. I love you. I'm going to see you in the morning. Let's go.